Yeah. This is Dan from Action Figure Magic, and we have a Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified. This is Outback, and he is from the Tiger Force collection, so you can notice that he's wearing a tiger on his shirt, and he has traded in his white t-shirt for an orange one to honor those tigers. He also let his hair go gray versus the orange that he had because orange would have clashed too much with the tigers, so he had to just let it go gray and just stop dyeing it. And he just busted out of his package. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at his accessories. We are going to compare him to the original G.I. Joe figure from, I guess we can call it vintage now that it's been out for, I'd say a few decades, but still a classic. And now Outback, we've got his backpack out, and let's put that on him. A G.I. Joe figure is nothing without their backpack, so he could fit all his socks, granola, everything in there. So let's put it on. There's a peg on there that goes right in, and he is ready to go camping. And we'll take a look at his weapons and accessories that he came with. I guess we'll start with the pistol that he grabbed out of the package while he was just shooting his way out. And it is pretty amazing. I love the pistols that come with the G.I. Joe classified figures. There's usually a holster for them where you can put them in, and then for stop motion purposes, they could just grab them out, start firing. They're a lot of fun. Probably my favorite accessory that the G.I. Joe figures come with, and this is no exception. This one is pretty incredible. And next in line, we've got a kind of the older, over-the-shoulder, I guess, automatic weapon. I'm not too familiar with guns other than what I know from my G.I. Joes, and I just know that this one looks cool. So he's going to hold it, and it's got a double handle on there, so we could have him hold that. I guess as he's running through the jungles, he's firing at coconuts, which don't really grow in jungles, which is why he knew to fire at them, because they are out of place. They're clearly spies for Cobra. His elbows are a little bit stiff at the moment out of the package, so I can't really get a good grip on the handle. I'll have to work in those a little bit. We'll take a look at the articulation in a moment after the accessories, but those elbows are pretty tight at the moment. But on to the next, we've got a cool little dagger going, and I did notice that he's got a spot on his boot, so he could put it right in. I think those are called dagger cut boots. They sell them at Men's Warehouse, so that's probably where he got them. And that is pretty awesome. Also another fun one if you're doing stop motion, so you could pull it out and do a little bit of stabby. And I really like this one, so we are going to arm him with that and put it in his hand. So for display purposes, I think this is going to be my main display. He's going to hold the knife, he's going to hold the gun, maybe the pistol. I'll swap it out. I'll see what I like. And then it looks like he's also got the bullets for his gun. We forgot about those. So now he is fully ready to go. If he was running through the jungle firing with no bullets, he'd be the laughingstock of all of the G.I. Joe figures. So we don't want that. That is a nice shoulder articulation. And then, as I mentioned before, his elbow is a little bit stiff. It should be able to go all the way up. It is double jointed, but the forearm articulation piece of it is just really tight. And I don't want to force it right now and chance breaking them. So let's see if we can get this one. Yeah, this one actually goes much better. So you can see the range of it. That is the expected range of motion. And then it looks like, yeah, his knees are also a little bit stiff, but we were able to get them all the way back. And all in all, G.I. Joe classified figures are great. Sometimes you just need to work in the articulation a little bit on the joints. And look at that, he stands fantastic. And then he's got a shovel because, why not? Sometimes you're just really hungry. You just get a pile of beans and rice and you just need a shovel because a normal fork won't do. And it's got a nice little hole on it to go in his backpack. He's got a post on each side of his backpack, but he comes with one shovel. I'm not sure what the other one is meant for, but I don't see one of those hole spots on his gun. So I'm not quite sure. We shall find out. Ooh, and he comes with a nice little flashlight. That is pretty awesome. He's got a cool little reflective piece over the front of it, so it looks like a real flashlight. And he's got a nice little holster on his leg. So if he's in a fight with a shadow, he just pulls that out, bam, defeats the shadow, and then goes about his day. So I think for future stop motion ideas, using that flashlight to make some shadow puppets. Don't know how I'm going to quite do it yet, but there's some inspiration for me to play around with. And we'll get his flashlight in there. That looks pretty awesome. I don't think there's going to be too many cases where I'm actually going to have him holding it outside of a stop motion. For display purposes, I think it stays on his leg. It looks awesome. It shows how he's ready to go in any environment. And since he is such a classic action figure from G.I. Joe, I did want to take a moment to compare him against the original, the one who started it all for Outback, with his survival shirt, nice white t-shirt. In my opinion, one of the most muscular of the characters of the G.I. Joe, so he was always just the powerhouse. And you can see he's got his orange ginger hair, which has turned gray over time because it's been a few decades since his figure first came out. But you can see just the knife on the boot, and you can see where the design was taken from, the inspiration for it all. In my opinion, Hasbro did an amazing job with this figure, making it new as well as a nod to the original. You can see on his leg there, that's where the flashlight would go had he still had his flashlight, but the batteries ran out. It's been a while, so he just tossed it to a side. And just look at the detail on this new Outback's face. It is fantastic. I love this figure. Outback is a great character. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.